What's up, Internet? This your boy Vaughn. Today is Wednesday, and I am doing my weekly video of stuff that I find interesting on the internet. This week, given how the new Spider-Man cartoon, I don't hear anybody talking about it, and we have been talking about a little bit on our podcast every Sunday, that these companies are trying very hard to not give people what they ask for, and it's kind of weird. And I saw something on Bounding in the Comics that kind of gives a little bit of insight. It's about a comic book, but it kind of works into entertainment in general. All right, so let's get into the article. All right, so the article is on Bounding in the Comics, and the title is Marvel Comics exec editor rejects idea that Peter Parker and MJ should get back together due to the popularity of Ultimate Spider-Man. And it doesn't really make a convincing argument to me at all. All right, so those of you who don't know, the Ultimate Universe is kind of a offshoot of the main Marvel Universe where they get a lot of the 616 is the main Marvel Universe, and the 616 is the main Marvel Universe where they get a lot of ideas for the MCU from. They also take some ideas from the Ultimate Universe, such as Samuel Jackson being Nick Fury. So they decided to do a series of comic relaunches in the Ultimate Universe because they're trying to do something because people really aren't buying comics anymore. But in this, they decided to have Peter Parker get his spider powers later in life. So he's married to Mary Jane Watson and they have 2 children. Then he gets bit by a spider and he becomes Spider-Man, and he's dealing with being Spider-Man as a dad of 2 kids and married to, like I said. So it was very, very popular. I think it died down some because I think they changed things that the fan base didn't like. Meanwhile, in the regular Spider-Man universe, they decided to break up Mary Jane and Peter Parker. Think of this like Lois Lane and Clark Kent, that kind of thing. So because the person at the time, and I'm drawing a blank on his name, didn't like the fact that Peter Parker was married. So they broke them up, and which led to a very divisive comic book that I think even the writer is trying to distance himself from. The Spider-Man fan base absolutely positively hates it. And it's called One Day. It's a little bit of a intro to what's going on right now. In standing firmly opposed to wider sentiment, that basically is a minor statement because it isn't. The fans hate One Day, hate the whole breaking up, and they just made it worse and worse and worse because now she's married to some dude, has 2 other kids somehow, and it's just like a whole mess. All right. Marvel Comics executive Tom Brevoort says that while their romance is played to a rousing applause in Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 3, he does not believe the series' current popularity presents a convincing enough case for restoring Peter Parker and Mary Jane's marriage in the 616, which is the main universe. So Mary Jane encourages Peter to chase his dream in Ultimate Volume 1, Marvel Comics. So this is the Ultimate thing, and her catchphrase and all that fun stuff. Brevoort, who also serves as the current overseer of the publisher's X-Men line, that tell you everything you need to know right there. Because the X-Men is just as much of a cluster as Spider-Man is. Provided his take on the current spider marriage discourse while answering fan questions from the March 9th edition of his weekly Man with a Hat Substack blog. Asked as to his thoughts on the recurrent idea that the success of the new Ultimate Spider-Man with married Peter Parker is an indication that the regular 616 Peter's marriage to MJ should be reinstated, and that it is a fault of the editors over there for not recognizing that and thus reaping similar sales success. The Marvel Comics editor responded with the firm declaration, "Yeah, I've been hearing that from a couple of yahoos," which is the vast majority of the Spider-Man fan base. He refers to a couple of yahoos, which basically tells you why Marvel Comics is getting his butt kicked by manga. All right. whose idea of a good time is to send us the same form letter about MJ and Paul every single day, because they absolutely hate the fact that you did that. You're ignoring your customer base, even though they're repeatedly telling you over and over and over and over again that they hate what you are doing with Spider-Man. But here's the thing. I think the point of view that you're talking about is simply incorrect. Okay. This is a shot of one more day, which basically in one more day, Aunt May gets sick. She's dying. Peter Parker makes a deal with Mephisto to save his aunt's life. In order to do that, Mephisto, being basically the 616 devil, says, I want to take something as important to you as your aunt is, which is your marriage. So this is a kind of a build up to the marriage dissolving and all that. So saying how much they love each other. It's Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1, One More Day, Part 4, Marvel Comics. Oh, Joe Quesada, that's the one who broke them up. Because he personally did not like Spider-Man being married. Didn't care what the fans thought, none of that. And this is J. Michael Straczynski, who is I think he is trying to distance himself from this particular comic because of the backlash from it. First off, the difference in sales between Ultimate Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man is relatively slim, and it's not like Ultimate is doing twice or three times the business or anything. And secondly, I don't think the success of Ultimate at the moment is just down to Pete and MJ being married within it. Once again, this is a person of authority in a business who is not listening to his fan base. And you see it all. You see this in video games. You see this in movies. You see this in so on and so on and so on. And when you look back at it, it's like, how do you not see how wrong you are? But you're so narcissistic, and you're surrounding yourself by people who are as narcissistic as you are, that you cannot see that maybe we made a mistake and maybe we need to fix this, and to at least get some more sales. So him saying that the sales are not different or not that different, I'm like, that just means that, well, I already know that comics aren't selling. So yeah, I can't imagine that. But your customer base is happy with that version of Spider-Man, not the one that you're pushing. So I get that. I think it's a lot more to do with the quality of the work that Jonathan Hickman and Marco Cheto, sorry if I got your name wrong, bruh, are producing. Both of those things can be true. They can like the story that's going on, and they like the fact that Mary J and Pete are married. So both of those things can be true. I don't know. You have many conversations with people, and they seem to not get the fact that two things can be true at the same time. So I get that people want Pete and MJ back together, or of course going to point to that series, but the truth is it doesn't really make a convincing argument to me at all, because you don't want to do it. So therefore nothing anybody tells you is going to change your mind. You concluded, I've been around this particular sort of block too many times over the years to mistake the signals of what? Of your fans and customers telling you the same thing since One More Day came out. They've been saying the exact same thing since then. And this was a mistake. You need to fix this. And Marvel just refuses to do that. This is more from the Ultimate book, where he's an adult Spider-Man. Admittedly, Brother is completely wrong in assumptions, but he's also not completely right. For publicly available sales information provided by comic book retailer specific news outlet ICV2. They're just giving how many the sales. For example, came just behind Ultimate total sales and units moved, and though the months since have been Ultimate Volume 3 pulled ahead in both metrics, the gap in either category has yet to be larger than 5 books. Nobody's buying nothing. Marvel just launched their new Daredevil series on Disney Plus. Nobody's watching it because you have successfully pushed your fan base into apathy. So people are looking at this and expecting you at any point to do what you did in the main universe. So they're not giving it as much of a chance. They liked that, and they had a big push, and everybody was talking about it. But one of the things everyone was saying was they just waiting for the other shoe to drop. So you completely do not see why, like, you don't seem to see why things are as they are. You just keep putting out your crap and just complaining about it and don't want to change. It's like, try it, see what happens. Do it over in the 616. Have it go for a year, see if that helps. But they're not gonna do that. So this person says, further Amazing Spider-Man Volume 6 standings are helped by the fact that not only is it published tri-monthly, but every issue manages to rank among the month's best-selling, and sad to say, that's on the readers. Okay, Peter Parker's confused. Amazing Spider-Man 6. Oh yeah, this is when he find out that this story was so stupid. Him and Mary J got stuck in another universe or something like that. He left. Somehow she told him to go. Like, there was a way to escape. Like, I'm just trying to draw from memory because I just saw glimpses of this. She made him escape. He was gone. I think he was gone on 616 for not that long. But when he came back there, it was like 5-6 years had passed for Mary J. Conversely, however, this competition really only pertains to individual issues. Conversely, when looking at the monthly top 20 graphic novel sales charts compiled since its release, the first Spider-Man Volume 3 trade paperback, They Married with Children, has consistently ranked as one of the top 3 best-selling books across the industry, with absolutely zero Amazing Spider-Man collections even placed. Right, so basically, when someone combines all the books together, you got a lot of word of mouth, people saying how good it is, so they're not interested in picking it up, as it comes out. But trade paperbacks, people tend to buy that, and yeah, apparently it's kicking its butt. This comparison gets even worse when looking at the relevant numbers for the whole of 2024. As despite being available for just 4 months, the Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 3 trade still closed out the year as the 3rd best-selling graphic novel by units and 5th in total dollars. In other words, while comic book readers and speculators may be buying each issue of Amazing Spider-Man Volume 6, readers just outside of this demographic, including those both new and returning, are clamoring for Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 3. Yeah, I didn't really buy the Ultimate Universe Spider-Man books on an individual basis. I just waited until the trade paperback came out and I bought those. Because I guess I used to be more avid comic book reader, but I'm more of a normie now. While it'd be nice to be able to point to this discrepancy as proof that even casual readers want Peter Parker and MJ back together, and while that may be separately true, the more realistic answer is that both word of mouth regarding the absolute banger of a job the aforementioned duo of Hickman and Chocchetto have been delivering on Earth 6160. I think I may have to go pick up those trade paperbacks. All in all, that the early numbers do look good for the pro Spider marriage faction. The true test of interest will be determined by whether or not the series can retain its interest well into its future. All right, the first comment is, in canon, they're still together. I don't care what woke companies have to say. I don't care what Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey has. But we own the IP, so what we say goes. I wish I was kidding. But a lot of non-woke artists have made the same argument when fans dislike something they do and refuse to accept it as canon. I don't get why companies do this. And it's like I said, it is entertainment in general. Your customers are telling you one thing, but you choose to ignore it. You're like a restaurant who your customers come in and order a lot of the chicken, but you want to push the steak, but people aren't really ordering the steak. So instead it's going, all right, what are we doing to make people really like the chicken and emphasize this is what people who come in here want, and then work on maybe making the steak better? You say, no, I'm going to keep pushing the steak regardless to whether or not anybody wants it. And that seems to be the case for everything that's out right now. From books and movies and television shows and video games and everything. It's actually pretty frustrating. It's getting very, very difficult to not black pill on stuff. But the good thing is there are decades of things that are much better to read, to watch, and all that. So I would suggest you do that. And if they don't want to change to make things that the customer wants, that's on them. All right. Please like, share, and subscribe and all that fun stuff. And I am out. Peace.